Hello there. Tonight we're going somewhere distant, closed off, tightly controlled and often misunderstood. We're going to North Korea. Officially the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, one of the most secretive countries in the world. In this video we'll walk through 100 real, strange and sometimes quietly astonishing facts about this country's history, its rules, its people and its silence. Like how the leader is worshipped like a god and apparently tells his people he invented the cheeseburger. All true, all rarely spoken about. So take a moment to like, maybe subscribe and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from and what time it is. We love seeing our fellow night owls. Now, let's dim the lights and get comfortable as we begin. Number 1. North Korea does not use the same calendar as the rest of the world. It follows the Yuch calendar, which begins in 1912, the year Kim Il-sung, its founding leader, was born. That means what most countries call 2024 is UK 113 in North Korea. The calendar is used in newspapers, official speeches and government records. Only the outside world runs on the old time. 2. There is only one television channel in North Korea that broadcasts year-round. It is state-run and delivers a mix of patriotic music, farming news, factory highlights, military documentaries and speeches. There are no commercials, no remote debates, and programming ends around midnight. The silence afterward is not symbolic, it's scheduled. 3. North Korea operates on its own time zone, called Pyongyang time. It was created in 2015 by setting the clocks back 30 minutes to mark national independence. In 2018, the government moved the clocks forward again to match South Korea. Time was shifted by decree, then shifted back. 4. The Kumsusan Palace of the Sun is a massive mausoleum that holds the embalmed bodies of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. It is kept at a constant temperature. Visitors must wear shoe covers, bow 4 times and pass through wind tunnels to remove dust from their clothes. It is not a tourist attraction, it is treated as sacred space. 5. North Korea has the 4th largest standing army in the world, despite having a population of just over 26 million. Almost 25% of working-age men are in the military. Conscription is mandatory and can last 10 years or more depending on your role and gender. Some soldiers are assigned to construction, farming or road sweeping. Uniforms are still required. 6. There is only one internet network accessible to the public and it's completely isolated from the global internet. Called Kwangmyong, it includes about 1,000 to 5,000 internal websites, including weather reports, encyclopedia articles and news. It cannot connect outside North Korea. There is no Google, no YouTube, no escape. 7. The country runs a massive state-sponsored impersonator program where actors and singers are trained to imitate members of the ruling Kim family. They appear in parades, ceremonies and staged events to boost morale or cover for the leader's absence. The audience always pretends not to notice, because that's part of the performance. 8. North Korea has built an entire fake village called Kijongdong, located in the demilitarized zone. The village includes brightly colored buildings, a school and a flagpole over 500 feet tall, but there are no residents, the windows have no glass and the lights run on timers. It was built to be seen, not lived in. 9. The country's largest hotel, the Ryugyong Hotel, is 105 stories tall and stood unfinished for over 2 decades. Construction began in 1987. By 1992, it was abandoned. It was nicknamed the Hotel of Doom. It wasn't until 2018 that they lit up the outside. The inside remains mostly empty. 10. Each citizen is assigned to one of 3 social classes under a system called Songbin, based on their family history, loyalty and political behavior. This status affects everything: where you live, what school your children attend, what job you get, even what food you can buy. It cannot be appealed and it follows you forever. 11. North Korea claims to have discovered a unicorn lair. In 2012, state archaeologists announced that a stone marking the spot of an ancient unicorn's den had been found near Pyongyang. They said it confirmed the city as the capital of an ancient kingdom. The discovery was not peer-reviewed. It was reported as fact. 12. All radios sold in North Korea are pre-tuned to government stations. They cannot receive foreign broadcasts. Tampering with the dials is illegal, even if you just want better weather. 13. Children are taught revolutionary songs from the moment they can speak. By kindergarten, they know anthems dedicated to the leaders. By second grade, they can recite speeches from memory. Patriotism is not suggested. It's rehearsed. 14. Pyongyang has one of the lowest traffic densities in the world. Some intersections have no cars at all, but there are still traffic police, women in blue uniforms performing precise hand gestures. They direct traffic that isn't there and never miss a beat. 15. Tourists are only allowed to visit on guided tours, escorted at all times by 2 government minders. You cannot explore alone, you cannot speak to locals. You can take photos, but only of approved things and only from approved angles. 16. Kim Jong-il was said to have composed 6 operas, written 1,500 books, and learned to walk and talk at the age of 3 weeks. This was reported by the government with no corrections. 17. The country's national airline, Air Koryo, was once rated the worst airline in the world for 4 years in a row. Its fleet is made up of aging Soviet-era planes. Meals often include a cold mystery meat burger and flat soda, but the seat belts work, mostly about 18. Each home in North Korea is required to have portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il hanging on the most prominent wall. They must be cleaned daily using a special cloth. Officials conduct random checks, and yes, there is a correct angle. 19. In 2015, North Korea launched its own operating system called Red Star OS. It looks like macOS, but it's built on Linux. Every file saved is automatically watermarked with the user's ID. Even screenshots are monitored. The computer watches you, not the other way around. 20. Kim Il-sung is still the country's eternal president, despite having died in 1994. No other person has officially held the title since. This means North Korea is the only country in the world with a head of state who is legally deceased. There are no term limits, only memorials. 21. Every North Korean adult is assigned a state-approved haircut from a list of government-sanctioned styles. Men can choose from around 10 cuts, women from about 18. Long hair is discouraged, so is expressing preference. 22. The capital city of Pyongyang is not accessible to the average citizen. Only those considered politically loyal or elite are allowed to live there. It is spotless, quiet, and heavily guarded. It is not a city, it's a display case. 23. North Korea built a $3 million theme park called the Mangyongdae Fun Fair. It has bumper cars, roller coasters, and giant plaster fruit. There are no lines, no crowds, and sometimes no electricity. 24. School children begin each day by bowing to portraits of the Kims. They end each week by cleaning their classrooms and sometimes the public statues. Civic pride is choreographed and never skipped. 25. Wearing jeans is considered a symbol of capitalism and is banned in many areas. Denim is allowed in private but discouraged in public. Blue is the wrong kind of loyalty. 26. North Korea has its own version of basketball rules where slam dunks are worth 3 points and missed free throws lose you a point. Games are fast and strangely mathematical. 27. The state has published its own version of history textbooks that claim the Korean War was started by the United States. It also states that Kim Il-sung single-handedly defeated the Japanese. The books are required reading, facts are optional. 28. In the 1990s, North Korea suffered a famine that killed hundreds of thousands of people. It was called the Arduous March. The government blamed weather, sanctions and sabotage, but not policy, never policy. 29. Government loudspeakers are installed in many homes and public areas. They broadcast music, speeches and announcements each morning. They are turned off only by officials. Volume is not a setting, it's a statement. 30. North Korean defectors often describe public executions being held in schoolyards and sports fields. Attendance was mandatory. The silence afterward was not relief. It was training. 31. The national flower of North Korea is the Kim Il-sungya, a violet-red orchid hybrid. It was named after Kim Il-sung by Indonesian scientists. There is a museum dedicated entirely to this flower. Botany has a political leaning. 32. There is an entire museum exhibit in Pyongyang showing gifts received by the leader. It includes gold-plated rifles, ivory carvings, crystal animals, and even a stuffed alligator. The message is subtle but extremely well lit. 33. North Korean factories sometimes produce goods labeled "Made in China," then sell them overseas through third parties. The practice is untraceable unless you know which factory still smells like gasoline and secrecy. 34. There are over 40,000 statues of Kim Il-sung across the country. Every town has one. Most people have memorized the rules for bowing, cleaning, and photographing them. There is no official manual, just generations of precision. 35. North Korean athletes often train abroad, but are escorted at all times by government agents. If they win, the nation celebrates. If they lose, they quietly return to silence and supervised reflection. 36. Most citizens do not have last names that match the ruling family. Using Kim without permission was once punishable by forced renaming. The name is not just sacred, it's reserved. 37. The tallest flagpole in North Korea stands in Kijongdong, the fake village in the DMZ. It reaches 160 meters and flies a flag weighing 270 kilograms. It was built to be taller than South Korea's flag by exactly 20 meters. 38. On paper, elections are held every 5 years. Ballots contain only one candidate, handpicked by the party. Voters can cross out the name but must do so in a separate booth, under observation. 39. The government operates a video game studio responsible for state-approved titles. One game teaches traffic safety, another simulates potato harvesting. There are no zombies, only quota systems. 40. Kim Jong-il was reportedly terrified of flying. He traveled exclusively by armored train. The train included chefs, satellite phones, and cases of French wine. Luxury moved slowly, but never left the tracks. 41. North Korean calendars include official days of mourning for the deaths of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. No music is played. Television shows only tribute footage, and laughter in public is considered deeply inappropriate. Grief is rehearsed and carefully timed. 42. The mass games are a state-orchestrated gymnastics and dance performance, featuring tens of thousands of synchronized participants. Children train for months to flip colored cards that form massive images in the background. It is precise, patriotic, and exhausting. Art as obedience. 43. Defacing, damaging, or mishandling a newspaper that contains a photo of the Kims can be considered a criminal offense. Even folding the paper the wrong way is frowned upon. The news is not meant to be read. It's meant to be preserved. 44. North Korean cars often run on converted wood-burning engines due to fuel shortages. These vehicles, known as gasifiers, carry smoke chambers on the back. They move slowly, loudly, and with a permanent cloud of irony. 45. The government has its own tour company, but you don't get to choose your itinerary. You visit what you're told to visit, photograph what you're told to photograph, and eat exactly what you're served. Freedom of movement is available, only on paper. 46. In Pyongyang, many apartment buildings are unfinished inside, but appear pristine from the street. The facades are painted, the exteriors washed, while some interiors lack working plumbing or electricity. Form is mandatory, function is flexible. 47. North Korea has a propaganda village with fake shops, painted glass, and buildings with no interiors. Lights are timed to turn on and off each night. The illusion doesn't need to fool outsiders, only insiders. 48. Citizens are assigned work units called Inminban, neighborhood watch groups responsible for local behavior. They monitor attendance at events, report suspicious behavior, and ensure portraits are dusted. The neighbors are watching, because that's the job. 49. In 2009, the government conducted a currency revaluation, replacing the old one with new bills at a ratio of 100-to-1. Savings were wiped out overnight. The finance minister was executed. The economy remained exactly where it was. 50. Foreigners are not allowed to use local currency. Tourists pay in euros, Chinese yuan, or US dollars. Shops have separate items, separate prices, and sometimes separate entrances. Even money has borders. 51. There is no known autism or disability community in North Korea's official records. Those with physical or mental impairments are rarely seen in public. Care facilities exist, but access is classified, said. 52. North Korea claims a 100% literacy rate. Education is mandatory and free, and every student learns both math and military history. Critical thinking is not part of the syllabus. 53. Even in major cities, power outages are routine. At night, satellite images show North Korea almost completely dark, except for one glowing dot. Pyongyang, electricity is available, but not distributed. 54. The border between North Korea and China is long and mostly unguarded, but swimming across the Yalu River is dangerous, and escapees risk being returned if caught. The water flows both ways, the people don't. 55. North Korean architecture follows monumental socialist style. Heavy, symmetrical, oversized. Buildings are designed to impress, not invite. 56. In Pyongyang, there are mannequins in barbershops with labeled hairstyles. The styles don't change, and neither do the mannequins. Stability, they say, is fashionable. 57. The state produces its own brand of tablets and smartphones preloaded with propaganda materials, censorship software, and government dictionaries. There are no app stores, only updates. 58. In 1994, the state ordered all clocks in the country to be reset to reflect mourning after Kim Il-sung's death. Time itself paused for 10 days, then resumed, slightly more obedient. 59. Defectors describe loyalty tests that last for generations. If your grandfather said the wrong thing in the 1960s, you may not be allowed to attend university today. Loyalty is inherited, so is suspicion. 60. North Korean leaders are known by over 500 honorific titles, including Son of the Nation, Dear Leader, and Master of the Planet. Not one of them includes the word President, because that role is taken permanently. 61. North Korea has its own version of Wikipedia called Kwangmyong. It contains a few thousand articles, all curated and written by state authorities. There are no edits, there are no talk pages, and nothing about the outside world. 62. The North Korean constitution guarantees freedom of speech, but it is also illegal to question the ruling party, criticize the leaders, or discuss politics in public. The right exists, but only in theories. 63. Foreign media is banned. Possessing a South Korean movie, a K-pop song, or even a foreign USB stick can lead to years in a labor camp. Entertainment is permitted, but only if it's pre-approved by the regime. 64. In the capital, many citizens ride bicycles with registration plates attached. Each bike has its own number, just in case a license check is needed, or someone tries to escape at 12 miles per hour. 65. Official state-run newspapers are published in black and white, with the exception of photographs of the Kim family, which appear in color. The past is grey, the present is red. 66. Kim Il-sung is said to have invented the hamburger in North Korea. It is known as a double bread with meat. It's not fast food, it's historical fiction. 67. The Workers' Party of Korea holds nearly all power in the country. There are technically other political parties, but they do not oppose anything. They participate quietly. 68. School children spend hours each week learning the biographies of the Kim family. Tests include questions about what the leaders like to eat, wear, and say. Grades are not just academic, they're political. 69. During national holidays, citizens are sometimes required to attend spontaneous celebrations. Attendance is tracked. Cheering is observed. Joy is mandatory. 70. Military parades in Pyongyang often feature fake weapons. Cardboard missiles, wooden tanks, or launchers with no warheads. They're not meant for combat, just for watching. 71. In rural areas, many people still cook using coal or firewood due to unreliable electricity. Meal preparation is slow, smoke is common, and gas stoves are considered luxurious. 72. Despite having 24 million people, North Korea only issues about 1,500 tourist visas per year. Most of those go to tightly monitored tour groups. The rest are carefully selected and closely watched. 73. The North Korean government has published official books of Kim Jong-il's on-the-spot guidance. These contain photos and transcripts of him visiting factories, farms and schools, offering advice on things like fertilizer and shoelace quality. No one interrupts him, even in print. 74. There is a Tower of the Juche idea in Pyongyang standing 170 meters tall. It represents the state philosophy of self-reliance. It's taller than the Washington Monument, which is the point. 75. And the government publishes a weather report that always shows sunny skies over Pyongyang even when it's clearly raining. Forecasting, like history, is adjusted for morale. 76. The average North Korean citizen has no access to the global internet, no credit card, no passport. But most carry ID cards that list their loyalty score. Identity is monitored. Access is denied. 77. The Juche Tower is lit up every night. The neighborhoods around it are often dark. Monuments don't need power. They generate it. 78. Every citizen is expected to vote in national elections. Turnout is reported as 100% every time, even for people who no longer live there. 79. People bow when walking past murals or statues of the leaders. The angle is exact. The location is specific. The gesture is mandatory. 80. The Ryugyong Hotel, once the tallest building in the world, has no guests. It has a glass exterior, LED lights, and more than 3,000 empty rooms, form without function, a skyline without story. 81. North Korea's railway system covers more than 5,000 kilometers, but most trains run slowly, averaging just 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. Delays can last for hours, sometimes days, and passengers often bring their own food, blankets and water. Train travel is not about getting somewhere, it's about being patient. 82. The Pyongyang Metro is one of the deepest subway systems in the world, reaching depths of nearly 110 meters underground. Stations are decorated with mosaics, chandeliers, and revolutionary music. Most locals only use one or two stations. Foreigners are often only shown those same two. 83. There is no real-time international calling available to ordinary citizens. Domestic phones are separated from foreign dialing networks. If someone inside the country wants to call abroad, they must apply for special permission, and the line is never private. 84. On the country's founding day, students and workers practice for weeks to take part in parades and events. Streets are cleared, flags are raised, and participants are selected based on their social rank, appearance and loyalty score. Spontaneity is rehearsed, so down to the second. 85. Pyongyang's skyline features massive concrete buildings, many of which appear identical from a distance. Colorful paint is sometimes applied to distinguish them, blue, peach, green, but behind the facades most interiors are Spartan. The architecture is monumental. The furniture is not. 86. Many streets in rural areas are unpaved, and public transport outside the capital is nearly non-existent. Bicycles, ox carts, and walking remain the most common forms of travel. A trip of 20 kilometers may take half a day. No traffic, no speed of 87. The Juche ideology combines Marxist-Leninist ideas with a strong emphasis on Korean self-reliance. but in practice, it's mostly used to justify the regime's isolation and hereditary rule. It appears in textbooks, monuments, songs, and everyday greetings. Philosophy has been replaced with branding. 88. Outside Pyongyang, electricity is often only available for a few hours a day, usually early morning and late evening. Candles and kerosene lamps are used to light homes. Refrigerators are mostly decorative. Cold food is common. 89. Medical care is free in principle, but in practice, most patients must bring their own supplies, including bandages, syringes, and soap. Hospitals are often understaffed, underlit, and underfunded. Treatment depends more on your social status than your symptoms. 90. Kim Il-sung's childhood home is preserved as a national museum. Visitors are guided through each room in silence, including the kitchen, the grain jar, and the garden plot where he allegedly played. It is less a house and more a shrine. 91. The Tower of Eternal Life in Pyongyang displays the phrase, "Kim Il-sung will live with us forever," engraved in stone. Beneath it, citizens place flowers, bow 3 times, and step backward so as not to turn their back. Immortality, carved and choreographed. 92. The National Library, Grand People's Study House, features thousands of books, including manuals on leadership, agriculture, and mathematics, as well as entire floors dedicated to the writings of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. Self-study is encouraged, but self-expression is not. 93. Farmers do not own their land. Agricultural work is organized by collective farms, and quotas are assigned by the state. Crops are first delivered to the government. Only what remains may be kept. Sometimes nothing remains. 94. Children start learning about the ruling family by age 5. By middle school, students must memorize dozens of speeches and essays and pass exams based on the lives of the leaders. Memory is rewarded. Interpretation is not. 95. The Arirang Mass Games once involved over 100,000 participants, making it the largest gymnastics display in the world. The backdrop itself was a human mosaic, a stadium of children flipping colored cards to form moving images. Precision was everything. Smiles were required. 96. When North Korean defectors arrive in South Korea, they undergo months of re-education and integration training. Not because they're dangerous, but because they've never used a bank, owned a phone, or made a personal choice. 97. The country has its own version of the World Wide Web, but most people will never see it. It runs through intranet cafes, school libraries, and government offices. The average citizen may live their whole life without knowing what an online search actually does. 98. Each statue of Kim Il-sung is protected by guardrails, surveillance, and unwritten rules. You must photograph the full body, you must not crop the feet, and you must not turn your back until you've stepped away. 99. Some schools have museums inside them showcasing gifts sent to the ruling family. Model planes, paintings, glass vases. Students walk past them on their way to class. Gratitude is built into the architecture. 100. North Korea is a place where the year is different, the news is memorized, the silence is structured, and the loyalty is measured in gestures, portraits, and posture. Almost everything is still, except the fear. And the script. Still awake, that's okay. You've made it this far. And there's still more to explore. Let's keep going. A few more facts, a little slower and even quieter. No pressure to remember, just listen and let the rest fade. 101. North Korean embassies are often expected to earn money for the state. Diplomats have been caught running businesses abroad, including restaurants, art sales, and even arms deals. They carry briefcases and quotas. 102. Some factories produce export-only goods, like seafood, clothing, or watches, that are unavailable to North Korean citizens. Workers handle products they'll never use, packaged, sealed, and shipped away. 103. When Kim Jong-il died in 2011, citizens were required to cry publicly in mourning squares. Footage shows people wailing, collapsing, and beating their chests. Participation was expected, so was intensity. 104. The North Korean legal system does not presume innocence. Trials are rare, sentencing is swift, and in many cases outcomes are decided before the first word is spoken. Justice is fast, but not blind. 105. Satellite photos show empty highways stretching across the countryside. They are wide, paved, and almost always deserted, built for military use, not daily traffic. Roads without destinations. 106. All university students must undergo mandatory military training, and most colleges focus on science, agriculture, and political ideology. Liberal arts are limited. Critical thinking is not on the syllabus. 107. Every public building, no matter how small, has at least one portrait of the leader. From train stations to factories to hospitals, even some elevators have them. You never ride alone. 108. Defectors report that every classroom has a framed directive from Kim Jong-un, often handwritten, sometimes about education, sometimes about discipline. It is not discussed. It is simply pointed at. 109. North Korea has a state-approved encyclopedia called the Great Korean Encyclopedia. It includes entries on global topics, but every definition is rewritten through a patriotic lens. Even gravity serves the revolution. 110. Tour guides for foreign visitors memorize entire scripts. They often answer questions with quotes from the leaders. If asked something off script, they smile, nod, and continue walking. 111. The country celebrates 3 generations of Kim family birthdays as national holidays. Each day includes parades, flower shows, speeches, and re-screenings of state films. It's not just remembrance, it's performance. 112. Defectors who return, voluntarily or by force, are paraded on state television. They thank the government for forgiveness, apologize for being misled, and vanish shortly afterward. 113. Every home in North Korea is inspected periodically by neighborhood watch leaders. They check for cleanliness, missing portraits, and signs of foreign influence. Privacy is considered suspicious. 114. Pyongyang's hotels for foreigners often have entire floors sealed off. Elevators skip them, doors are locked, and the staff doesn't explain. 115. There is no rush hour in Pyongyang. There are not enough cars for congestion. Traffic lights exist, but are rarely needed. 116. The Mayday Stadium in Pyongyang is the largest stadium in the world by capacity, seating up to 150,000 people. It's used for parades, propaganda shows, and occasional soccer matches. The silence between events is almost louder than the crowd. 117. The tallest building in Pyongyang, the Ryugyong Hotel, has no guests, no signage, and no known opening date. It was under construction for over 30 years. From some angles it reflects nothing. 118. There are no advertisements in North Korea, no billboards, no brand endorsements, no signs pointing you to the best sale. Only propaganda posters and praise. 119. The national anthem, E Gukka, is only one of many patriotic songs. There are dozens more dedicated to the leaders, the army, and even the concept of eternal loyalty. Radio stations cycle them constantly, and citizens know the lyrics by heart. 120. North Korea is one of the only countries that still uses manual traffic direction, with female traffic officers performing choreographed motions at intersections. Most intersections are empty, but the routine continues because someone might be watching. 121. Each time a new Kim takes power, the official biographies are updated. Birth stories are rewritten, miracles are inserted, and previous records are quietly replaced. History is treated like software. Version control is absolute. 122. North Korean schoolbooks include math problems about artillery shells, enemy planes, and heroic harvests. A simple equation might ask how many imperialists can be eliminated with the correct number of grenades. The answer is always patriotic. 123. Television programming in North Korea begins in the afternoon and ends by midnight. Most shows are documentaries about factories, soldiers, and the achievements of the ruling family. There are no sitcoms, no plot twists, only loyalty. 124. Clothing is regulated. Men are expected to wear jackets and ties in public. Women must wear skirts. Foreign fashion trends are banned. Rebellion begins with denim. 125. The country once created its own operating system for computers, Red Star OS, complete with custom fonts, desktop wallpapers, and a built-in file tracker that watermarks everything. Even your screenshots are loyal to the state. 126. In North Korea, your family's history affects your future. If your grandfather fought for the wrong side 70 years ago, you may not qualify for university, a government job, or a home in Pyongyang. Forgiveness is not inherited, but guilt is. 127. During major speeches, citizens are expected to applaud for long stretches. Not clapping can be interpreted as disloyalty. The applause is timed, measured, and emotionally hollow, but very loud. 128. The country's film studio, Korean Film Studio, produces dozens of movies a year. They focus on war, workers, betrayal, redemption, and always conclude with the same theme: the leader is right. 129. Kim Jong-il was obsessed with cinema. He once kidnapped a South Korean director and his actress wife to make films for the regime. They escaped after 8 years, but not before completing several projects. 130. North Korea has a law called 3 generations of punishment. If someone commits a political crime, their children and grandchildren may be imprisoned too. This is not metaphor, it's policy. 131. The national flower, Kim Il-sunggia, is said to have been gifted to Kim Il-sung by Indonesia. It has its own festival, its own museum, and its own curated myth. It blooms once a year, by schedule. 132. Many schools begin the day with ideological training. Students repeat slogans, bow to the portraits, and write essays about loyalty. The bell rings, class begins. 133. All media, radio, print, television, and internet, is owned and run by the state. There are no independent outlets, no alternative narratives, just different formats for the same voice. 134. Citizens are required to carry identification at all times. Checkpoints are common. If you leave your neighborhood, you'll need an internal travel permit. Movement is possible, but never assumed. 135. Most buildings in Pyongyang lack elevators above the 5th floor. Electricity is unreliable. Residents on upper levels climb dozens of flights every day. Living high requires strong legs. 136. The Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, is one of the most heavily fortified borders in the world. It is lined with fences, mines, bunkers, and an eerie quiet. Birds cross freely, humans do not. 137. Public art in North Korea includes murals of Kim Il-sung talking to farmers, Kim Jong-il pointing at factories, and Kim Jong-un inspecting potatoes. No detail is accidental. Even the crops are loyal. 138. A popular tourist site in Pyongyang is the victorious Fatherland Liberation War Museum, a massive complex devoted to North Korea's version of the Korean War. It includes a captured American ship and a very different timeline. 139. The USS Pueblo, a US Navy ship captured in 1968, is still held by North Korea. It's docked in Pyongyang, used as a museum, and still officially part of the US fleet. 140. North Korea has only 3 television channels, and they're not available in all regions. Most programming consists of documentaries, revolutionary operas, and footage of factory tours. It's not designed to entertain, just to remind. 141. In North Korea, the concept of a weekend exists, but Sundays are often filled with mandatory community labor, cleaning, or state-organized events. Rest is conditional and easily revoked. 142. Some rural homes still use floor heating systems called ondol, which channel smoke from a fire beneath stone floors. It's effective, but also dangerous. Carbon monoxide leaks are quietly common. 143. Although Pyongyang appears vibrant in official photos, tourists report that many shops have no inventory, and stores display the same products repeatedly behind locked glass. Scarcity is staged and normalized. 144. Defectors describe public loyalty pledges where citizens stand in rows, raise their hands and swear allegiance to the leadership. Participation is not symbolic, it's expected. 145. The country has thousands of monuments. Some are large bronze statues, others are obelisks or plaques. All are maintained meticulously, washed, guarded, and never ignored. 146. Ordinary citizens are forbidden from owning private vehicles. Car ownership is reserved for military officials, government workers, and select members of the elite. Everyone else walks or pedals. 147. At state museums, even mundane items, like old boots, spoons, or pens, are labelled as artifacts once used by the leader. Proximity equals importance. Significance is manufactured. 148. The North Korean flag is flown with extreme formality. It must never touch the ground, and disposal requires a ceremonial process. You do not fold it, you retire it. 149. Defectors report that foreign movies are sometimes smuggled in on USB drives, hidden in shampoo bottles, or tucked inside rice bags. If caught, the penalty ranges from forced confession to public sentencing. Curiosity is risky. 150. The phrase, "let's live our own way," is repeated in posters, songs, and school lectures. It is not an invitation, it's a warning. 151. Despite the lack of fuel, cars in Pyongyang are washed frequently, especially those used for government transport. Appearance matters, even if performance doesn't. 152. The national coat of arms includes a hydroelectric dam, a red star, and sheaves of rice. It's not about symbolism, it's about control, power, and pretending there's enough food. 153. Television weather reports often end with a note of thanks to the leader for providing favorable conditions. Even rain has a chain of command. 154. A typical North Korean meal might include cold noodles, fermented vegetables, and rice, if available. Meat is rare, soy sauce is reused, and dinner comes with praise for the system. 155. The leaders' faces appear in lapel pins worn by adults. It's one of the few accessories allowed. Losing it is shameful, not wearing it is dangerous. 156. In propaganda films, factories are shown operating at full capacity, with smiling workers and spotless equipment. In reality, many factories produce little. Some stand silent for months, but the footage rolls on. 157. Every student learns to play a musical instrument. Most play the accordion. It's portable, loud, and fits well into group performance. Expression is encouraged. In chorus, 158. During parades, military hardware is paraded through Pyongyang under the gaze of thousands. Some equipment is real, some is hollow, all of it is polished. 159, and even domestic paintings and murals are carefully reviewed before public display. Brushstrokes can be political. A cloud in the wrong place can raise questions. 160. North Korea maintains a consistent broadcast of its founding myth, a heroic birth, a fearless youth, and a destiny written in mountain light. It's told in textbooks, songs, and bedtime stories. 161. The National Library in Pyongyang includes reading rooms, foreign language dictionaries, and entire wings devoted to the Kim family's writings. Access is controlled, topics are limited, but silence is enforced. 162. Certain public benches in Pyongyang are reserved for military officers and government officials. Ordinary citizens know not to sit there. The signs are subtle, the consequences are not. 163. Foreigners who visit North Korea are sometimes required to submit their phones at the airport. Devices are held, inspected, and sometimes returned with less data. Privacy is not a right. It's a negotiation. 164. Public buses in Pyongyang operate on overhead electric cables. They are slow, loud, and nearly identical, but they run, as long as the power does. 165. The government maintains archives of every citizen's political loyalty tracked over decades. The information is not shared, but it is used. 166. Phrases like hostile thinking and reactionary influence are used in court hearings, education reports, and personal files. They are never clearly defined, which makes them useful. 167. Pyongyang's skyline includes space-age towers, coloured lights, and clean sidewalks, but electricity is rationed, elevators are often off, and windows stay dark. 168. Some schools teach children to disassemble and reassemble rifles. Others teach the importance of weeding fields in synchronized lines. Discipline comes in many forms, none of them subtle. 169. The state-run film studio produces historical dramas in which all foreign invaders are defeated, all traitors are punished, and the hero always resembles someone familiar. 170. Official slogans are carved into stone and painted on mountainsides. Some are visible from miles away. They do not fade, they do not change, they are part of the landscape now. 171. The ruling family claims to never defecate. This is stated in biographies. It is never questioned, and somehow it's part of the myth. 172. Every adult is part of a political organization. Whether a farmers' union, a women's committee, or a workplace cell, attendance is recorded, absences are remembered. 173. In some rural towns, loudspeakers play music at dawn and dusk. The songs are cheerful, the effect is not. 174. North Korea still conducts military drills using wooden rifles and paper targets when real equipment isn't available. Precision is expected, even if the bullets are imaginary. 175. Marriages are approved through local party committees. Couples must meet social, political, and family criteria. Love is optional. Approval is not. 176. Many department stores in Pyongyang are built to appear modern. They include escalators, food courts, and shelves of imported goods. Most items aren't for sale. They're for display. 177. Citizens are expected to donate a portion of their income or labor to national construction projects. Some paint buildings, some haul bricks, all call it volunteering. 178. At official events, the audience is expected to cry during sad songs. Dry eyes are noticed. Grief is measured and rehearsed. 179. Every adult is required to attend weekly meetings to confess minor mistakes, recite slogans, and self-criticize in front of others, even if nothing happened, especially if nothing happened. 180. Even if you leave the country, North Korea does not consider you gone. There are surveillance programs abroad, there are informants, and sometimes there are consequences. 181. Some schools include subjects called revolutionary history and Kim Jong-il's leadership tactics. There are no alternative textbooks, no opposing viewpoints, and no multiple-choice questions. 182. North Korean maps often leave out South Korea's infrastructure entirely. No roads, no cities, and sometimes not even the border. It's a kind of cartography where belief matters more than geography. 183. Officials are sometimes punished for using foreign soap, eating imported fruit, or having wallpaper that looks too modern. Loyalty can be measured in taste and scent. 184. Military service is so widespread that in some towns only children and the elderly remain. Entire villages move at half speed, waiting for their sons to return. If they do. 185. Pyongyang is home to an amusement park. It has bumper cars, roller coasters, and a shooting gallery. Sometimes the rides work, sometimes they don't, but the photos are always cheerful. 186. North Korea has its own brand of soda, toothpaste and cigarettes, all designed to mimic foreign products. They cost more, they do less, but they belong to the state. 187 more. There are museums dedicated to the inventions of the Kim family, including automatic rifles, dam blueprints and new farming techniques. Innovation is hereditary, according to the tour guides. 188. Kim Jong-un has no known official birth date. Some say 1982, others say 1983. The government doesn't confirm time, like truth is flexible. 189. An entire section of Pyongyang is devoted to foreigners. It has its own hotel, its own restaurants and its own limits. It is a city within a city, and it ends at the sidewalk. 190. Some tourists report being followed by the same stranger in different parts of the country. He doesn't speak, he doesn't smile, he doesn't disappear. 191. If a citizen escapes and is caught, the punishment may extend to their entire family, not metaphorically, not historically, immediately. 192. Each neighborhood has a resident surveillance officer, often a retired woman who reports unusual behavior. She knows everyone. She forgets nothing. 193. There is a law against sarcasm. Public remarks that sound critical, even if technically praise, can be investigated. Tone of voice matters, more than intent. 194. Buildings damaged in floods or storms are painted over, not repaired. Windows are boarded from the inside, and photos are retouched. Stability is part of the aesthetic. 195. The Pyongyang Times is printed in English. It is not sold outside North Korea. Its front page is always about the leader, page 2 as well, sometimes page 3. 196. On paper, the country has religious freedom. In practice, most churches are stage sets for visitors. The congregants are rehearsed, the prayers are observed, and the doors are locked when you leave. And 197. There are official state hairstyles, but no one talks about them. They are worn, not discussed. 198. Every leader has a Mount Paektu moment, a symbolic pilgrimage to the sacred mountain where the revolution supposedly began. Even geography has a loyalty test. 199. If a family falls out of favour, they are quietly relocated. No trial, no announcement, just a moving truck and a record that gets thinner each year. 200. North Korea is a country with borders, rules, uniforms, rituals and silence. Its people live inside a story they did not write, one that repeats itself with perfect posture and very little light. There you have it. 200 real facts about North Korea. Strange, quiet and unchanging. If you're still awake, you probably won't be for long. If this helped you drift off, leave a like, subscribe for more slow stories, and let us know in the comments what time it is and where you're listening from. We love seeing our fellow night owls. Now breathe in, let it out slowly, and let the world outside go quiet. Sleep well.